Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion. Don't forget that part. My name is Mr. Christian Ramey. You can call me whatever you want. But sitting across from me, this young man, this is the best producer in the whole wide world. And he's back for another week clapping your cheeks. Around here, we call him Ozark Mark. Actually, around everywhere. But you can call him whatever you want. Ozark Mark, how you feeling down there?
Hello, everybody. Fellas, I hope you're excited. I hope you get the tingling in your buttholes when you press that play button. Ladies, I hope that your Polly Pockets are ready for this rocket of 1 hour of solid entertainment for your ass. That's right, we are back here. A new season is upon us, Mr. Christian Ramey. This is exciting, okay? Doing something we don't normally do right now is we fucking ended the season early. We cut it in half, and we're starting with another season right off the bat. We didn't take a break. We're right back up in it.
There's a new thing.
Right back up in it. It's new. It's great. What is going on for this?
I got the shirt. I wore the band shirt to the concert.
You sure did.
I'm the biggest fan. Today, folks, we're talking about a legendary installment.
It's gonna be legendary.
Of the Friday the 13th franchise. And that is Friday the 13th Part 3. 3D. Okay? 3D.
It was in 3D?
Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. Ozark.
I did not know this.
Well, I imagine, however you watched it, you did not watch in 3D. But, you know, this isn't going to be a what do you know fact here. This should be a fact that's kind of pretty well stated because you can't really talk about this movie without noticing it, because as soon as I start mentioning a few things, Mark, you're going to be like, oh, fucking A. But on top of that, this was the first movie to use the 3D camera.
Whoa.
So, yeah, and it took like forever to set up, but there's a lot of parts, like, you know, like when the yo-yo's coming down towards it, like when you start to think about it, you're like, I get it, the kids with that baseball bat, there was no reason for that shot, like when they're in the street, there's just certain things, like when the mouse comes out, there's random parts throughout this movie where you're like, I see how the 3D worked, the little harpoon.
It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. It's all up there. It's in the storage unit. It's in the cabinet. I got it. I did not know that. Wow, that's pretty fucking interesting.
Yeah. So 3D was a great experience for folks in the 80s. Pretty jealous that I wasn't old enough to see this one.
That probably blew their minds.
Oh, yeah. I was listening to one of the guys talking about making it. And he's like, you know, it's a fun date. People like to go out, put on the goofy glasses. It's a fun thing. I was like, okay.
Dude, those glasses never worked, like the fold-up ones. I'm glad, like, I haven't been to a 3D movie in a long time, but the last 3D movie I went to, they're actually like sunglasses now, so. But, I don't know. 3D always made me kind of sick, so I kind of avoid it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's still a fun concept, but, you know, it made me a little queasy down in the intestinal area.
Yeah, we got this thing here in Cincinnati called the OmniMax, and it's just like, it's at Union Terminal, which was like an old train station. But this theater, it's like really hard to describe because it's like curved and large as fuck, and like has this incline of a stairway that's just like this. Like it's a very heavy, steep pitch, and like when you're in there watching something, and it's always some crazy nature shit. Like you're like fucking drone shot over like a lake and a canyon, like you're an eagle, and you feel like you're gonna like you feel like you are that, like you are there.
Yeah, it's like kind of like I don't know if you've ever been to a theme park, like a ride that moves, and like it's a dome that surrounds you. So basically, it's like, I don't know, 5D or some shit. I don't know what the hell you call it, but
did you ever ride that Tomb Raider ride at Kings Island?
Yeah, I did.
It used to hurt your nuts,
dude. I remember it's the funny thing about it is the last time I remember being at the OmniMax, there was this dude that came out who worked there, and it was like a heavy-set dude, but his gut was like folded over his belt, and he was wearing a white shirt, and you could see like the stretch marks and veins in his gut through the shirt.
Oh.
I know. It was quite a spectacle.
Oh.
I don't know how that happened, but it was like that was fucking horror.
It was distraction. It was distracting.
It was very distracting. It's one of those things where you can't look away.
We went to see one.
Like every time some dude bends over and his butt crack's hanging out, you don't want to look, but you can't help but see it.
Pull up your fucking
I
pants.
know. Pull.
What about, hey, look here. What did we go see? You say it had something to do with the ocean.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Was it fucking beavers or something?
Well, that was the day where we just got really, really stoned and we walked around the projects and found a pit bull on a roof.
Yeah, that
for
was...
some reason. And then we just went to the museum and just went into the Omnimax, and it was something about dolphins. I think Jim Carrey was announcing it.
Narrating.
Whatever.
Yeah. No. He was there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
You guys are in for a treat.
But anyway, we're off the map here. Let's get into the synopsis about
Ozark.
Friday the 13th, Part 3.
3D.
Yes, 3D. Excuse me.
3-dimensional. All right. So here's the deal, Ozark Mark.
3D. These nuts.
We actually can't get into it yet, folks.
Why not?
As you know, not only do we try to be the most educational and entertaining horror podcast in the whole entire world, what we do is
We are.
I like that. All right, we're humble fellows, but I like that.
Thank you.
So, what we do is have zero advertisements because we're not going to bore you selling you shit that you don't want. Now, if we got horror stuff maybe that you guys would want, maybe we would sell that in the future. But to be honest, we don't want the little cheap plugs. We're not going to sit here and sell you razors. But what we do to keep the lights on is we have a Patreon where we put bonus content, bonus episodes. You could get that for as cheap as $3 a month. Patreon.com/sloppyhorror. You can join in on all the episodes.
Go buy it. It's $3.
Look, you know what else you could do? If you're interested, if you want to show the world that you're a sloppy whore just like us, you can go check out our merchandise as well. There's always links in our descriptions of all of our episodes. Some of our YouTube videos that the monetization is on, you can see some of the products underneath the video. But if you want to help us, that's how you can do it. And that's how you help out. So, that's all the preliminaries. We got all the shit out of the way. We're ready to talk. Are you ready? Because
I've been ready for like the past 3 minutes.
a lot of people are going to click on this episode, Ozark Mark. A lot of people like this stuff. This is fucking Jason, bro, and it's the movie where he got his mask, dog. This is... All right, that's the mask. That's part 3.
I see it.
That's part 3.
I see it every goddamn time I'm down here.
I know. I'm sorry. I have to bring the noise because I do... Don't get me wrong. Freddie's
Thank God
my...
for compressions.
Freddie's my guy.
Yes.
Okay? Mm-hmm. I love Freddie.
Who doesn't?
But I don't like to argue between all of them because I love all of them. I love all of them. I can debate and have fun and go back and forth, but Jason...
You're like a parent who has like 3 kids. Like, I love all my children the same.
I know.
Which is bullshit because every parent has a favorite child. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't bullshit me.
I don't have a favorite kid.
Yes, you do.
No, it switches at times. Like, you'll have a favorite for the day.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You still got a favorite, though.
That's true. There's a favorite of the day. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they could be a couple days in a row, and you could be like, all right. But then they'll just do something stupid where it's like, all right, you got to step down. You remember in Guts, Global Guts at the end where they'd climb that little mountain, and then at the end they could stand and they'd hold up that weird piece of, like, glacier?
I wanted a piece of that glacier.
I did too, bro. That pool was lightweight scary, though.
It was.
Like, all right, anyways.
Stop getting off track here.
Well, I'm sorry, Global Guts. Do you have it?
They need to bring back that show Gladiators, too. That show was dope.
Yeah, we
remember that?
Like
American
that.
Gladiators? Mm-hmm. They had to put balls in baskets and shoot each other with guns.
Ozark Mark.
Spandex.
So here's the thing. This movie, we've talked about the third movies before, and I'm going to clarify again. And I might mention this every episode because I don't know which episodes people are going to listen to. The third, if you have a horror franchise and it's successful enough for you to have a second one, and then you get to a place where you can have a third one, you have to make, there's a fork in the road. And you can go, for the third installment, you could be really cheesy, or you could go very serious and go blockbuster, or you can go heavy hitter. All right. For example, look at Sleepaway Camp. You have part 2, which was kind of a follow-up to part 1, which was a success, but they chose part 3 to also just kind of go hokier and kind of go cheesier, which no problem in that, but that's the road you got to take. Or you can go like a Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, you had the first movie very successful, second one also successful, but it was just like a boom, here's something, which was awesome. It was still scary, but the third one, man, you got motherfucking Lawrence Fishburne, like you got some heavy. It had some money. Patricia Arquette, there was just good acting and throughout that movie. It was an actual blockbuster movie. And in this case, for Friday the 13th, Part 3, we have the same ordeal. But what makes this movie so fun, the director, the writer, all the cast, pretty much essentially everyone was very young, like in their 30s or younger. So you kind of pick that up in this movie. Every Friday the 13th has a certain formula that you have. You generally have these characters a list of characters that can't die quick enough, you know, but sometimes they're more lovable losers than anything, a lot of times. They're not always like complete douchebags. They're more lovable losers with funny one-liners where they make you laugh at least every time you watch. I think this one, the first 2 movies really established a good score, good killing, and I'm not saying there was bad character development, but I think part 3 is where Friday the 13th really started to get it correct with how they introduced characters. Like, they always did so good at that. They always did so good. You just got a great group of characters. There's usually the stoners, usually the slut, usually the final girl, usually the douchebag guy. There's like a whole list of the nerd. There's all kind of archetypes of characters that you kind of want to see. And eventually, you start to root for the killer. But when we were younger, Mark, now you could watch this and you could be like, oh, hell yeah, go Jason, that's great. But if I showed this to Ozark Mark when he was 6 or 7, this shit would have fucked your world up. This was different back then. This was just different back then. These guys were legends. Now, they become pop culture icons, but I'm not saying like, you know, like, oh, in my day. I'm not trying to sound cooler than anybody. I'm just saying I'm thankful I grew up in the generation. Like, when we were kids, you'd be on the playground and somebody would be like, dude, you know about Candyman? You're like, what? You're like, yeah, man, he's got a hook for a hand. You're like, and your brain would just imagine the craziest shit, and you'd have to find it. You'd get the movie, you'd watch it, and it would probably fuck you up. As an adult, you go back and watch it, and it's nowhere near as bad as you thought it was. But these guys were legends. Kids built them up. There was a different tale about Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael. They were larger than life, man. And these movies to us when we were younger, man, or me especially and a lot of our generation, these were terrifying when we were little. These were, and under the mask Jason you saw a lot of in this.
Yeah, you did.
And he was like an alien. he was like Sloth from the Goonies.
He does look like Sloth from the Goonies, yep.
So, I guess I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. It's a Friday the 13th movie, so you're really not going to need a whole lot here. I want to make sure that... Let me pull up my cast list here, too, because I want to make sure that I'm showing love to everybody. Because, like I said, they had a lot of people in this movie that really kind of kicked off what I thought to be what they've done best with casting. So, all right. We have Chris Higgins, the main girl, who is returning back to Crystal Lake after some trauma. Jason attacked her apparently some years back, and she's like coming back to, I don't know. She thought it was a dream, so to speak. She knew it was real, but it was a really weird night. She was out in the woods. She woke up. Jason.
She's coming back to face her fears.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Ozark says it best.
Call it that. Thank you.
So Chris, she comes back, and then she brings some friends with her to her little cabin up there. She has a little flame named Rick. He's like this muscle-bound, simpy guy, but he's simping after her, for sure.
Uh-huh.
and she's just all about her feelings that weekend. He's not digging it. He's not all about it.
Nah, he tries to start it off as soon as she gets in the door.
Look, I can't do this, Mark. I can't do this. What the fuck we talking about here, okay? Kids, go to the lake that Jason lives at. He doesn't like that shit. He kills him. It's Crystal Lake, babe. People know the formula. You know, I can't even like try to make this spice it up.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Jason kills people at the lake.
Yeah, Jason kills people at the lake. They die one by one. They all go off by themselves.
And guess
and
what?
then they die.
And
Two people bang, and then they have a good time, and then they die.
That's why
Okay?
they die. You can't
And then one person's left. She has the courage. She kills him. And then she leaves. That's the synopsis.
But
there
he's
you
not
go.
dead.
I
They
thought
never
he was.
die.
I
Well,
thought
they die. He dies enough at the end of the movie.
I thought he was dead for a whole movie.
Well, yeah, he died enough for her to get away, but he comes back.
Yeah, we know that.
He rejuvenates.
I know. What do you?
So, you know, I could try to make it sound as cool as it is, but you guys know the fucking formula. You know what it is. Like, I could... Honestly, if you had never seen this movie, Mark...
I haven't.
All right, you hadn't before this, right? But
I've seen Jason. I've seen Jason movies, but you know, like I said, I don't sit here and pick out.
I think that's why people like that about you, though. You're genuine, you're honest, you like horror movies, you have a love for horror movies, but that's what kind of makes it fun because you're coming in with a different perspective. And I kind of like that because, I don't know, movies that I've been watching so much since I was little. Like, for example, if I watch them with my wife, she's like, what is this? Like, you know, like,
What the fuck is this?
but you've kind of got more of a flair for humor and more of a flair for cinematic gore, not
Sure.
necessarily real life gore. You don't want to see people get murdered on video, but if somebody said, "Hey, look at this guy in this movie whose head gets blown up," you're like, all right,
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, Friday the 13th Part 3, if I were to ask you beforehand, before you had watched it, like, hey, what do you think this is about? You would have said, I think people go to the lake and Jason kills them. That would have been your answer.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. That sums it up.
There's a lovable loser character in here as well named Shelly. He's like an uglier kid, very nerdy. He's trying to get girls and he can't. He's like less than simpy.
He looks like who's that comedian? Jim Ross. Not Jim Ross.
He does. Is that the roast guy?
Yeah.
He does kind of look like him.
What's his name?
I think Ross.
Something Ross.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. But he looks just like him.
I know what you're talking about, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, he is funny.
So, this guy, he's a big practical effects guy. And he, like, has all these little fucking masks and all kinds of...
Dude, he has so much stuff in his little backpack.
I love this the most about the Friday the 13th franchise, because then you move into the fourth one, you remember, with Corey Feldman, and he had all the masks and shit around his room, and there's always kids, and then Tommy, and the later movie, like the fifth one, when he goes to camp, he still has his little fucking masks and shit. I love that they incorporate the nerdy horror nerd in there, like the little kid, and you're like, fucking hey, bro. I dig it, dog.
Yeah.
I dig it. So, he has all these props, and one of them is the hockey mask, which Jason kills him and takes it, and it becomes his forever. It just worked from that point on. It's very effective.
It is very effective.
It changed the game. It's like the Hitler mustache. No one can ever have that mustache again. Like, you can't have the Hitler mustache.
No, you cannot.
You just can't do it.
You cannot.
One guy changed it all.
Nobody can wear a hockey mask anymore except for a goalie.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, even if a goalie wore that kind of mask, what's the first thing someone says?
Jason.
Not like, oh, there's a hockey goalie.
No.
They say, that's Jason.
Everybody knows it.
That's
Everybody
Jason.
fucking knows it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They had to change the mask game. I think they added the metal bars and cages just because the Jason movies started coming out. Not because they're not effective. Because Jason, he's taking a lot of hits. Hits from machetes and knives and all kind of shit. And that hockey mask, it's resilient.
No shit.
It's resilient. Those might be stronger than the cages, but the movie started coming out, and hockey's like, look, everybody's too afraid to come to games.
Can't be affiliated with this garbage.
Everybody's real scared.
We got people fighting on the ice.
Coach.
We can't be a part of this.
Coach, not for nothing, but I think they got Jason on that team. I don't want to go out there. Me and the boys don't feel comfortable.
It's pretty much a lake. It's just frozen.
Look, not for nothing, Coach, but I want to verify if that's Jason.
He rejuvenates.
We can't play him. You get mad. Take us all
I think
out.
Jason would be a good goalie. Apparently, Jason has the skills of a goddamn Rambo.
Well, yeah, and he does. That's what makes it. This is one of the movies where he really utilizes multiple kills, multiple weapons.
He does.
I would say, like, yeah, machete would probably be the one that he uses a lot throughout the movies, but he uses a lot of shit. He uses harpoons.
He uses a pitchfork, harpoon, knife, his own 2 hands.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all he used. Right.
Let's think about it here. Yeah, the pitchforks were a lot of fun.
He used like a club or something.
Oh, yeah, to crack that guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That cracked him twice.
I like that there's a plethora of kills, and that's why people used to come to these movies. That's what made Friday the 13th so good, too. I mean, there was these crazy kills, and now they kind of seem so normal, or like we get them all the time, but at that time frame,
Well, it was something different.
Yeah, if you think about the kills, like even like the Omen or things like that, I'm not saying that they weren't shocking, but they weren't like, oh, like these were gnarly. You got squeezing somebody's head till their eyeball pops out.
Yeah. And it's all practical, too.
Taking a fire poker that was in the fire and jabbing it through someone's stomach. Like, there's some, like, creative ways, like, that are like, all right, I dig that.
I think that's why a lot of people enjoy it so much, because of his creative kills.
Yeah, especially some of these characters, they can't die soon enough, and you're like, all right, get him out of here.
Yeah, you get excited, so when somebody goes off on their own and they hear, what's that noise? You're like, all right, here we go. He's going to die. He's going to die. How's he going to die? Get excited to see it.
You know what else is a common trope within horror movies? They generally make, like, stereotypical people, and they'll, like, be one thing they're, like, addicted to. It could be, like, their car. It could be, like, smoking cigarettes. It could be smoking weed. It could be drinking. It could be having sex. It could be... Let me say an example here. So there's a couple in here, okay? You know the couple inside of this movie, Andy and what's her name? I'm trying to think of the girl's name. Debbie. Andy and Debbie.
I was going to say Miranda, but that ain't right.
Debbie.
Debbie.
Andy and Debbie.
Little Debbie.
What were they doing all movie?
Banging.
Right. How did Andy die?
Banging.
No, he wasn't banging. Where did it...
Oh, yeah, he was doing a handstand. And getting her a beer.
But where did Andy get killed?
In the nuts.
See what I mean? He got hit in the area that he's been using all movie.
Yeah.
Okay? Teddy in part 4, he's like smoking weed the whole time. He gets killed while watching a movie smoking weed. Even in Dead Silence, you remember the cop, like he's shaving his face the whole time, and at the end, like as he's dying, the razor's going off and shit.
Yeah.
And what was it, Friday the 13th part 5, like when that douchebag that's like always cleaning his car and shit, he gets killed while in front of his car. It's there's so many of these tropes.
Even how Jason dies in this one, they make a whole scene of him and this final girl fucking around on that rope thing at the barn. Mm-hmm. How does Jason die? By getting pushed off and hung. Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't die. Actually, he comes back to life again, but he dies by a machete at the end. But that's what originally gets him at first. Well,
they just make these douchebag characters that are so simple, and it's like usually whatever their thing is. I mean, Shelley, he plays a prank, and then he gets killed.
Yep.
He gets killed. Okay, so his girl, or like the girl he was simping after, she was really hot, but what was she? She was poor. Okay, so she comes from a poor neighborhood. She was asking to borrow Shelly's money when they went to the store because the store's like, we don't take food stamps. She's like, Shelly, I need some money. So he gave the wallet. What happens right before she dies?
She's trying to get the wallet
that she dropped in the water. See, there's all kinds of little like she's reaching for the money.
She dropped it in the water.
Reaching for the money, and then bam, she gets murdered. So it's like there's many things where it's like you're like, ah.
Yeah, it's comforting because you know it's gonna happen. It's like the one, like you know it's gonna happen, but you still want to see it.
Who are you?
Hey, you can.
What are you doing?
I can't forget what she said, but that's my favorite
Stop
part.
Screwing around.
Is that harpoon kill, because Jason just walks out with the harpoon, looks at her, just gangster, one fucking hand, bow, right through the eye, and then he just drops it on the floor and just walks away like he's just shit. He walked away like he didn't mean to do that. He's like, holy shit, I can't believe I hit her in the eye.
He's like Steph Curry hitting a three, like turns around before he even makes it.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, shit. It's exactly what that was like.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. There were so many great scenes throughout this. Now, can I ask you, Ozark Mark, being first time watching this, what's your favorite part?
I just said it, that harpoon kill.
Oh, that's your favorite.
Yeah, the
I'm
harpoon kill was that. If I could think of something else.
What made you laugh the hardest?
All right, well, here's what made me laugh the hardest. Is it's in, what's the main girl's name is what?
Chris,
that's what I thought it was. I'm sorry. But it's the whole thing where after Chris jumps out the window, or no, she drops out the window, right, from second floor, lands on there and taking her sweet time. So Jason has to walk through the house to go down and get her. But it's just so fun to me watching a guy, Jason, who's trying to kill this girl. He's just walking down a spiral staircase, like, casually. Pissed off. Like, it's like, God damn it, now I gotta go downstairs. Just watching Jason just go down. He's using the railing and everything. Just watch it again. Just watch him go down that spiral staircase. It shouldn't be like that. Like, he's just using it casually.
I don't think Richard Brooker gets enough love for playing Jason because I thought he did a good job of playing Jason. He really kind of changed Jason and put him in a different category. Ted White crushed it in part 4. But Richard Brooker, the guy who played him in this one, did a great job. He was just fun. He gave him kind of like he's like a creature. He was like some kind of like mongoloid.
He moved around like there was something kind of off with him. Which there's Jason's obviously on the spectrum.
Yeah,
to put it.
My boy's got something.
Yeah, there's something.
My boy.
He's playing with half a deck. You know what I mean?
He ain't all there. Nope, he ain't never been all there, but he's a sweet boy. That's what they'd say about him.
Right.
That's what they'd say about him, Mark.
Also, I also liked in the beginning, the first 2 people get killed. It's some lady and her husband, right? And they're doing laundry or whatever. And this lady is just
a cunt.
Yeah, she's just yelling at him for no reason, just bitching at him all the time. So it's so funny because if you've ever been in a relationship and you're getting bitched at all the time, like just constantly hound at, this man just goes into his store, starts feeding the fish, enjoying himself. Then he walks around the store, starts like eating random stuff, like picking up
peanuts
or peanuts out of the box and putting it back, taking an orange juice, sipping it, putting it back, and he's got a rabbit.
Dude, that rabbit.
He's just enjoying himself in the store, being away from her, and then he goes to take a shit, and he's got a bottle of Jack, just to enjoying his alone time. Like, every man goes through that.
Mm-hmm. He had this big ass rabbit. Dude, that was one of the funniest parts to me because this rabbit, the way he's holding it, the rabbit's like hugging him and holding him. Like, he's like holding on like a fucking koala bear. I don't know why it's so funny, but it's really hard to see that rabbit hugging onto him without laughing because he's like, oh, hold me. Like, oh, don't drop me.
He tried the fish food.
Yeah.
Everybody's tried fish food if you've had fish before.
Fish
food. What about you?
My favorite part?
Yeah.
If I'm going to say my favorite part from part 3, I do like the part where Andy gets chopped in the nuts. That was probably the most brutal kill to me.
I wish that the machete would have gone all the way through him.
Mm-hmm. But you know it probably went through his torso somewhere.
It at least got down through the pelvis, because the pelvis is a hard thing. That's like a hard thing to crack here.
It got his ween.
Oh, yeah, it did. Split his balls down the middle.
And that was fucked, because he was a fun guy. And he was cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
There wasn't like any... He was funny.
He got to do it on a hammock. I mean, what more do you got to accomplish in life after that?
I know.
And his girl got a tribute, I think, to the first one, right through the back of the hammock, like Kevin Bacon did in the first one. I like what they did there. I picked that up. I like what they did there. That's an interesting fact, I think. Why not learn more things about this movie?
Let's do it.
Hubbubaloo and howdy do. Welcome here to the one and only What Do You Know Here. This is a segment here where we're here to tell you people something that you may or may not know about this movie here. So, this is what's going to go on here. We're going to tell you things we know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know, you may not what we know, but if you know what we know, you're going to have a we know-gasm. If you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, and then you're going to have a we know-gasm too, and everybody's going to have a we know-gasm together. Everybody's going to be satisfied right up in your ass. So, I'm going to start off here and tell you something that I may or may not know about this movie.
About this what?
About this movie. When I do this accent, I fucking butcher words. Anyways, this is what's going on here. So, this filming location, it was a ranch in California. That's not Crystal Lake. That's not where that shit is. So, for this movie, they built everything. The barn, the house, the lake.
They built the lake?
Nothing was there before this movie. It was just no man's land. It was the land of the lost. It belonged to the Lord.
That's some Wild West shit.
Yeah, it is, but they came in, they built everything on this location for this movie.
You know what?
Did you know that? You thought it was a pre-existing place. You thought it was somebody's house. You thought it was somebody's ranch. You thought somebody had been there for centuries. Nope.
Well,
the lake wasn't even there before. Isn't that fucking interesting? I thought that was pretty fucking interesting.
Well, this makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense then, because you know something I know about this movie.
No, I don't know what you know, but you're about to find out.
Throughout the filming of this whole thing, the crew was out there. You'd hear gunshots going off from time to time, because they had rattlesnakes and all kinds of crazy critters, and there were bees and hornets and all kind of shit. And I guess that makes sense, because you're telling me they just went into the middle of nowhere and built this place, a middle place.
Yeah, didn't you scout the place first? Yeah. Didn't you see that there were rattlesnakes and bumblebees and hornets and gophers and all kinds of shit?
You thought Jason was scary.
I'd be more fucking terrified of rattlesnakes.
The Texas rattlesnake.
At least they warn you when you get near a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
At least it starts going like that. You know that it's...
You're about to get rattled.
Yeah. You're about to get rattled by the rattlesnake. Exactly.
Picture if like you were out there and you had like boots and jeans on and it bit you, but it hit your boot and didn't go in you.
Do you feel like $1 million after that?
You'd run and cry at the same time. You'd be making the craziest noise, because you would still think you're dying. You wouldn't know until you got into the car.
Oh yeah.
You would think it got in.
Would you suck the venom out of a rattlesnake bite for somebody?
They say it doesn't work.
Then why do they say to do it?
I think it's like one of them old wives' tales kind of thing.
Well, what are you supposed to do when you get bit by a rattlesnake?
I think tourniquet is your best shot.
What the fuck? Oh yeah, tourniquet. No, that's for an open wound, though.
Well, it's just, they say, that's what I read, like, you got a tourniquet so it doesn't spread as fast. And
the venom doesn't spread as fast?
Yeah, then you got to go to the hospital and they got to give you that anti-venom.
Yeah.
But you should call them on the way to let them know.
Well, you think they would carry anti-venom with them if they were on a thing full of rattlesnakes?
Yeah, it's more probably common in the areas that's got them. But like, say, they got to know what you're coming for because it goes pretty quick.
That's true. Moral of the story is fuck rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Okay, you heard it here first. That's a very interesting fact, though, on top of my fact. That's like a double fact there. I love that. That's good.
There you go. We got some good stuff.
That's
Friday
some
the
great-
13th, part 3. Okay, now you know some stuff about it. And, you know, they built the whole place, and then it was haunted with all kinds of animals.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. All right. Is that all you know?
That's all I know.
That's all I know, too. We're going to get out of here. Goodbye.
Mark?
Oh, if only you could see what I just laughed at.
Mark,
Yes,
how would you get away from Jason?
run.
Okay.
I would run. Because a man like that is going to be winded. The man does not exercise. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He does not exercise.
He doesn't seem fit.
No, he's not fit. He's slow. Run. Just fucking run on the path. Just keep fucking running. Especially with adrenaline. Run. If your adrenaline's pumping, you can run forever. You would be like taking breaths. You wouldn't even know you're breathing anymore. Just fucking run.
Oh, yeah. That would be my strategy, too.
Yeah, just fucking run. Or, you know, obviously try and kill him. But most people don't succeed.
Yeah, you don't want to go toe-to-toe.
No, I would just run. I would run. I would just keep running. For no particular reason, I would just keep running.
People get caught up being a hero because their friends get killed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You know, your friends get killed, or like the girl you're with. It's like, Mark, come get me.
See, that all depends on how long I was with this person. If it's under 2 years, I'm running. That's just plain fact.
I like
I'm running.
I like the newer Friday the 13th.
Now, I ain't no bitch, though, but I'm saying, like, I've seen enough horror movies to know how it all pans out.
I liked in that newer Friday the 13th when, like, that one dude got, like, an axe in his back, and his boy, like, or he got an axe in his back because he was like, my boy's out there. I'm gonna go get my boy. I mean, he ends up dying for it, but it was like, it was a different aspect because it wasn't the girl, and it was like, oh man, I would probably go save my dog. Like, if I'm like, all right, where the fuck is he?
Well, yeah, dog's different.
Yeah, but like, I mean, it's just
It's
either
different.
way, you're gonna get set up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, motherfucker, like, you can't be a hero, but the only way to outlive Jason is just to be fuck everybody, cover your own ass, just run.
Yeah, and just run. Like, Chris could have made it away multiple times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a path. Run.
You could have made it.
Just run. Soon as she fell out the second story window, just run. She would have had like a minute head start because he's so slow. And then you would have to track him down and find him.
Mark, have you ever played the Friday the 13th game?
No, but I've seen people play it a lot.
It's a very fun game, but they really nailed this movie and this house. They got the spiral staircase. Like, if you were to play the level,
Yeah.
Higgins Haven, you go up there and you're like, oh, fuck, dude. I mean, it is, like, incredible how much detail it is, especially for, like, a pretty cheap game. I mean, it's a very fun game, but it's just very detailed. They got a lot of different things from the different movies, but I thought they did a great job at making it look like part 3. This movie, or the movie, the house, it's pretty fun. I think you'd like that game.
I'm sure I would.
Because, like, you got to find, like, the different car parts, and if you do and steal the keys, people get mad. And you can, like, if you get all the parts and you start the car, you can, like, drive, and somebody be like, hey, wait up, and you can just be like, all right, come on, get in. And when they do, you could just drive off and chase them.
Leave them for themselves.
Oh, bro, there's so much trolling and so much fun levels of the game like that. I know you'd be a menace.
Yeah, I would. I'd be a total menace.
And if you could set your preferences if you prefer to be a counselor or Jason, and like even if you're Jason, like you're not gonna get it every time, but the times when you do, you're like, y'all fucked up. You're gonna get it, and you can go like 8 for 8 or 12 for 12. You get all of them, and you're just like, yeah, fuck y'all. Nobody's escaping up in here. But if you do escape, Jason, you feel like a G in that game. So that's a very fun game. I very much advocate that game, and there's a lot of they have a lot of different things from the whole franchise, but I would say the overall feel of it feels a lot like part 3.
Nice. Very nice.
And I don't know. This is what kicked it off, I think. I think this is Jason in the Mask. Don't get me wrong. The first one was a success because of the kills and the recipe of the banging and the fun.
I think he is scarier with the bag than the mask.
You like the bag from part 2?
If you're asking me.
The bag's fun. I like the bag.
The bag is fucking scarier than the mask. But maybe it's because the mask is so iconic now. It's comforting more than it is scary.
It's true.
But the bag,
you're like, yeah,
with one eye hole, it's fucking disturbing. It's fucking disturbing, all right?
Yeah, and the overalls with the flannel.
Yeah.
He's come a long way. He's a fashionable guy.
Hey, he upgrades. Everybody's got to upgrade their wardrobe and shit. They got to upgrade their style.
It's the 80s. He wanted to fit in. All these kids are coming around. He wants to match.
How pissed would you be if you were on your way to a lake with a bunch of people and you had a shit ton of weed and cops got behind you and you had to start eating all of it?
Tell me Super Troopers didn't steal that scene.
Oh, 100%.
Like, or at least definitely paid, homage to that scene.
Yeah, but I'd rather eat a bunch of weed than a bunch of shrooms.
But they did both. They ate the shroom or the weed too. And he's like, you owe me like $90, man.
I love when that stoner guy was making popcorn and it started popping and he started trying to catch him with his mouth.
The guy looked like Chong.
Yeah.
I know. I wanted to try that kind of.
I want to try it too.
I want to pop popcorn that way. The kids like when I get the ones from Scream, the Jiffy Pop. They like those because they feel,
It feels like you're doing something.
It's like
we're making popcorn. It's a movie night. Let's get blankets and hot cocoa.
We're doing science with our hands.
Some Bill Nye shit right here.
I saw this little short where it said, "Oh, I can eat the rest of this edible. I'll be okay, right? It's not a big deal." And he ate the rest, and it says, "Too high, I wanna die. Too high." And it did the whole thing, and the guy's like, "Ugh." Bro, I hope it pops up on your phone now, because phones listen. I fucking died when I watched that. If you guys find that one, that's funny as shit. he had a level of uncomfort on his face,
Also, I like the fact that what's her name, Missy? The slut, pregnant girl. Missy, in the hammock, when she was in the hammock.
Debbie,
that's right. I'm horrible with names, I'm sorry. But Debbie grabs a little piece of reading material. Remember what she was reading?
I do. It was Fangoria.
Fangoria. Tom Savini in there. Nice little homage.
I want that issue.
How valuable you think that issue is?
Probably get it for $25.
Wow, that's nice.
$30.
That's very nice. Good thing about horror stuff, it's cheap.
Just like our mothers.
Well, with that, let's go through the portal to another realm, to another world, where we rate this movie. Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah! Hello there, welcome back to the other dimension, the other world of the Sloppy Horror Podcast, where we do the Sloppy Horror Podcast. Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. If you want to know what we're laughing about, go to YouTube, damn it. But anyways, we're here to rate this movie in the world-class, right up in your ass, sloppy horror stamp of approval rating system. Christian Ramey, the horror nerd himself, has developed a very great system where we're going to rate a horror movie based on the elements that make a horror movie, not a movie in general, so keep that in mind. So how we're going to do this is we're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
Thank you for taking the mask off when you talked. I love that. It's good for audio.
Yeah, I wasn't going to keep it on. It just looked fun. I was going to scare the audience.
Boo.
Sorry, guys.
Boo. All right, so let's get into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
I'm thinking this is a solid 1.
Because a solid 1, you say.
It's not half a point. It's not half point because these characters aren't dreadful. They're decent. They're not like well-seasoned actors, but it was a young crew. It was believable. Everybody knew the role. If it was bad, I would blame it more on writing versus
Well, I mean, it was
chops.
believable for the 80s. It screams 80s, okay? And they fit, to me, they fit the categories of your typical slasher movie. To a T.
Van.
To a T. Van. So we're going to do 1 point out of 10 so far here.
1 point. 1 point so far.
That's 1 point here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Feeling 2.5-ish.
2. I think 2. But we can go in 2.5. Let's debate this. Why do you think it's 2.5?
No, I don't think it's 2. I said 2.5-ish. I didn't want to like seal the deal and say
Right.
final answer. I was just, that's what came to my mind at first. So if you're feeling 2, I feel 2 as well. I know there's Friday the 13th that have done better. Like as far as more brutal and more kills and more variety. Even though there was like a knitting needle used, there was a few different things used throughout this, but still kind of within the scope and still early on in the franchise where they kind of, I don't want to say shied away from all kills, but some kills were shied away from. Not all, but some.
Yeah, some were off camera. But you know, I mean, they're just quick. Not very detailed. They're just like blunt, like pitchfork, machete, harpoon through the eye was cool. Okay,
Eye pop out,
fire poker. Good variety in there, but I think they lack a lot of detail and emphasis on them. They're just quick, dead, dead, dead. A lot of variety and stuff, but I think it makes it a 2, if I was going to say.
I like that. We're going to go 2.
Okay, we're going to go 2 here. So that's 3.5 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 3-point category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
So it's not getting kids now, but it's getting its 1.5 because this movie did fuck kids up. This fucked a generation of kids up.
Dude, some people are still scared of Jason to this day. We said it in the last ones. I mean, it at least gets a 1.5 for the history of its scary. Is it scary now? No. Maybe to some people,
Sure.
but it's Jason.
I was watching some of it with my 5-year-old. She was just loving it. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
watch all of it, but she came down and she said, Jason!
It's different now if you watch it now. Back then, yeah.
He was still scary. He wasn't our friend yet.
No.
Like, he didn't... Freddy vs. Jason didn't come out yet. Like, he wasn't, like, amongst the, like, oh, he's legendary. He was a legend, but pretense to, like, Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell, he was just nightmare fuel.
Yeah, but people still... You know, he's there every Halloween. Every Halloween, you see Jason's around. Every time someone goes to a lake in the middle of nowhere, they think of Jason. Every time someone's got a hockey mask, they think of Jason. I mean, it's iconic, but he's still fucking scary. But he's, you know, more of an icon now, so that dulls it down a little bit. But 1.5 is good to me. So that is 4.5 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 1-point category for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
That's a yes for me.
Yep. It's a Jason movie. This is probably one of the most rewatchable movies in the horror genre. Mm-hmm. It's Friday the 13th.
You ain't lying.
You know, pretty much that's all you gotta say. What else can you say about it?
I grew up watching these flicks over and over, man.
Yes. So that is 5. Hold on. 1, 2. That's 3. 4.5 plus 1, 5. It's 5.5 out of 10 for Friday the 13th, Part 3. 3D.
That was a lot of numbers you just said. That is 5.5 for Friday the 13th, Part 3. 3D. 3-dimensional.
There it is, right up in your ass.
3-dimensional.
You know, it's funny. I saw the greatest license plate ever, and it just popped into my mind, and I have to share it with you.
Tell me.
This guy had ABC, and then a space, and then EFG. And then he had a bumper sticker below it. He said, "You'll get the D later." Brilliant. Brilliant.
I like that a lot.
I like that a lot, too.
Mark. Out of all the Jasons that you've seen thus far,
Yep.
what's your favorite model of Jason, if you will?
Model of Jason?
So to speak, like, what year, what's your favorite movie of Jason? And there's no wrong answers.
I don't know if I have a favorite movie of him. I mean, I like them all.
We covered 3 and 4 so far. I'm pretty sure you've seen Freddy vs.
Well, we
Jason.
covered 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
his mom in the first.
Well, that still counts as a Friday the 13th. But, I don't know. I haven't seen them all yet.
I don't know, because you might start because Kane Hodder is universally loved as like the most loved Jason, but he kind of gave more of like a zombie look, like he was more brute force.
I mean,
that.
Kane Hodder's version is probably the scariest Jason, like the most intimidating one. I still think the 2009 remake.
Yeah, that was great.
I think they did a really good job with that one.
I like that too.
So that's probably my favorite one thus far. But I still haven't seen Manhattan All the Way Goes to Hell. Jason, I've seen bits and pieces of everything, but I've never like sat down and made it an event to watch them. So
that's kind of cool though.
But the bag is probably my favorite homage of him, as we would say. The bag on his head. I like the bag on the head.
I like the bag on the head too. I mean,
That's just like more raw, like a real like fucked up killer's just got a bag on his head with an eye. Which you have to be very skilled if you only got one eye through a bag. You know how hard that is? Put a bag on your head with one eye hole and try to do anything normal. Nonetheless, murder somebody.
I look at part 2 different, and I like part 2 a lot, but I look at it like a different movie. When Jason turns that corner for the first time in his mask, not only do you know, like, it's something right, but it's just, like, even then, I think everybody knew. It's like, oh, that's it. That's that guy. That guy.
I'm sure they knew it right when they had the idea and found the hockey mask. Whoever found that hockey mask, be like, that's it. That's it. You just know.
That's it.
That's it. You just know.
Yeah, that was 100% it. When he turns that corner and like you said, he has that harpoon and gangster shit, you're like, legend is born, baby.
That's it. That's the moment right there.
Yeah. It's kind of cool to watch our little boy grow up and see his accomplishments. That's nice to see.
Right.
I'd just go fishing at the lake. I wonder if you'd be mad. Just like, look, dude, leave me alone. I'm just fishing.
As long as you're in the boat, you should be good. Right now, he goes underwater.
Yeah, and he's really fast. In the game, like, he's crazy. If you're Jason and, like, somebody's trying to get away in the boat, if you go in the water, you got, like, super speed. You're like a fucking merman.
Merman! Merman!
I think I got a case of the iron lung, or the black lung.
The black lung. Merman.
Oh, that's a funny ass movie. I just forgot about that.
Dude, that's a classic.
What is this, a center for ants?
That's a classic. I remember when that movie came out, dude. That was hilarious. That was a fucking hilarious movie.
Yeah, fucking Zoolander.
I like when they had the mom come out of the lake. It was a dream, of course, but it was nice.
A nice little homage to the first.
Yeah, I like what they did. They did a lot of good things with the first and the second movies. They included it in this one. It all worked very well.
Part 4 is my fave, though.
Yeah. I know.
It's the quintessential. I listened to that episode recently of ours.
Did you?
Yeah.
How was it? Because I don't remember it at all.
I didn't either. It was actually like a year ago today, and it was great.
Good.
It was hilarious.
Good. And if you haven't listened to that episode, go listen to it.
Yeah. Eventually, as more titles of franchises come out, we can start to make playlists on YouTube. So, like, have a Friday the 13th section, like a Nightmare section. Like, that way it makes it simpler. And if you guys just want to go boom, 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 there you go.
We're making it more easy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like, did you like the aspect of the bikers in this movie? Did you like them?
Dude, one of the best parts is when they have the scuffle outside, and he's like, fucking with their bikes and running them over with the buggy and whatever, and he just goes to run over the black guy biker, and he's standing in the middle of the road, and they're driving off. He's like standing there like, I'm gonna get you motherfuckers. I forget what he said, but he was doing all kinds of movements and shit.
Like at first too, when he knocks over the bikes and then like he drives like he's gonna get away, and the black dude just stands in the middle of the road. He just goes, what was his name? Ali.
Yeah.
He's just standing in the middle of the road, and he's got like this chain on his hand, and he just goes like, stop. And he stops. Dude stops, and he just leans in front of his window and goes, just smiles really big.
Yeah.
And punches it out. Like, just punches out all of his windows.
Why would you stop at a guy who's got a chain? What's he going to do?
Yeah.
You're in a Beetle. That's probably heavy as fuck. Just drive around him. What the fuck? But tell me, every time you don't see a motorcycle get knocked over, you don't think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah. That's a good.
Oh, yeah. Thought of that immediately.
This is good stuff.
It's great stuff, man.
Ozark Mark.
Yes.
If folks are looking for a fun way to support the show, but they also want to get some bonus content, where could they find that?
Up your ass.
All right.
No, you can go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror.
Yeah.
Okay? We got bonus episodes. There's close to 50 extra episodes that are exclusive to you, and it's a good time, okay? If you like our random banter, if you like scary stories, if you like readings of a novel, if you like lists, if you like trivia games, if you like fun time, another power hour of hardcore podcasting entertainment right up in your ass, that's where you go. And you can also be a Patreon member. Send us messages and send us whatever the fuck you want us to talk about. And we will read it and we will talk it. Mm-hmm. We will talk to it here. We love when you talk to us, okay? We got time for the people. So go there. It's only $3 a fucking month. Mm-hmm. Look in your pocket right now. You don't got $3? Come on now. Come on now. We're practically giving it away here. Okay, and then you could also get sweet ass fucking merch that I fucking made, so go look at that too. You can find that in the links on the YouTube, or you can go to the link tree, or just Google Sloppy Shop. It's probably right fucking there.
That's all there.
And it will be delivered to you, guaranteed. Guaranteed. So go there too.
To your front door.
Yes, and then you keep looking at us, you keep messaging us, you keep interacting with us. It's all fun. It's all fun and games.
We're all friends.
Yes.
We're having a good time, aren't we?
Tell
them we're having a good time.
I think we're having a good time.
We're holding these people hostage for a good reason.
Just for an hour.
And we really hope that, all in all, I hope that you're watching this movie again. I know a lot of you probably already seen it, but maybe some of you haven't. And it's always fun hearing people reach out and let me know, like, hey, I haven't seen this, and you recommended it, loved it. So, go rent it, make a night out of it, get all cozy, light some fucking candles, turn on your LED lights, make some popcorn, sit with your significant other, and halfway through the movie, get freaky. Oh, yeah.
What's better than that?
Nothing
or get freaky when it first starts, and then, by the time you're done, the killing will start, and you'll be ready. It's all fun, year round.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a good time. Slashers are always filled with fun and it's comedy. Appreciate it for what it is, because these movies really are special.
And they're fun for when the weather warms up.
I've always loved horror movies, but again, I'm not a horror nerd. So doing this show, I've seen almost 90 movies now. We're coming up. Half of them I haven't seen. So it's nice. It's good. It's really fun getting to relive them and experience them for the first time. And if you haven't seen these movies that we're talking about and you're experiencing them for the first time, it's good that you could get that feeling too. That's half of the point of the show here.
Yeah, we're doing it all together. Well, We're walking hand in hand.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about this. This is part 3s, baby.
Part 3s. That's the season. We're doing part 3s for this season. It's 5 episodes. This is episode 1. Then we're going to go 4 more. So what 3s are we going to talk about? You have no fucking clue. No fucking clue. Because I don't either.
We don't know.
Only Christian Ramey does.
The Brave Little Toaster 3. Home Alone 3.
No, Home Alone 3 was garbage.
It sucked.
It's horrible.
So bad.
Yeah, they really fucked that up.
I like New York better than I like the first one.
I think so, too. New York is funnier.
It is. It's just a unanimous decision. They fucked up Beethoven 3 too. They went hokey.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not just horror movies. It's like all big franchises. You just got that choice, that fork in the road. Like, what are we doing here? And some just say, we're going to shit. That's what we're doing.
Well,
Friday the 13th didn't do that.
no, they did not. They played it smart.
They were the first movie to use the 3D camera.
Bang.
Apparently it took fucking hours to set up.
I bet. So the thing was probably gigantic.
Yeah, I don't know if streaming-wise, but if you got like the DVD, they give you the option to watch whatever.
Yeah, not on streaming. They only give you SD and, high definition.
Well,
But that's just on Vudu because that's the only place it was. It said it was on Pluto for free, but they fucking took it off.
sluts.
I know. But anyways, we're out of time.
Okay.
We're out of
Until
time.
the next
I
week,
mean,
guys.
we got a schedule to keep here. We can't be going all willy-nilly. All right,
right.
we got to follow the rules, and we love you, and I hope you stick around for the rest of the season of the trees.
All right, stick a hand in your pants. Watch a scary movie. You guys have a good one.